What if you were told that fat loss doesn't begin in the gym? It begins the moment you open your eyes. Most people spend thousands of dollars on supplements, gym memberships, and crash diets. They torture themselves with extreme calorie restriction. They run on treadmills for hours, and yet the needle barely moves. The frustrating truth is that they are fighting against their own biology because they never understood one simple principle. Your morning is the most metabolically powerful window of your entire day. Science is now confirming what performance researchers and elite athletes have suspected for years. The first 2 hours after waking are when your body is in a unique hormonal and biochemical state. A state that, if used correctly, can trigger automatic fat burning. And if ignored or misused, it can lock your body into a fat-storing mode that no afternoon workout can fully reverse. This isn't a trend. This isn't social media fitness advice. This is biology. And once you understand it, your mornings will never be the same. Let's start with what's actually happening inside your body the moment you wake up. After 6 to 8 hours of sleep, your cortisol levels naturally spike. This is called the cortisol awakening response, and it is one of the most significant hormonal events of your day. Cortisol gets a bad reputation, but in the morning context, it serves a powerful purpose. It mobilizes stored energy, signals your liver to release glucose, and prepares your body for activity. This is your body's built-in fat mobilization alarm. The question is whether your morning habits work with this window or directly against it. At the same time, your insulin levels are at their lowest. Insulin is the master storage hormone. When it's high, your body stores fat. When it's low, your body burns fat. And in the early morning, insulin is naturally suppressed. This means that within the first hour or two of waking, you are in one of the only natural states during the day where fat burning can happen without significant hormonal resistance. This is the window, and most people destroy it before they even leave their bedroom. The first habit that leverages this biology is one of the simplest things a human being can do: drink water. Not coffee, not juice, not a protein shake, water. Research from multiple institutions, including studies reviewed by the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism, has shown that drinking approximately 500 milliliters of cold water upon waking increases metabolic rate by 24 to 30% for up to 90 minutes. That is nearly a 1/3 increase in your resting metabolism, triggered by nothing more than hydration. During sleep, your body loses water through respiration and mild perspiration. You wake up in a mild state of dehydration every single morning. Dehydration, even at levels of just 1 to 2%, measurably reduces metabolic efficiency. Your cells cannot perform lipolysis, the actual breakdown of fat, without adequate water. The chemical reaction that breaks a fat cell apart requires water. Fat burning is literally a biochemical process that depends on hydration. So before anything else, before your phone, before your coffee, before your alarm's third snooze, drink water. 16 ounces, minimum. Cold if you can tolerate it, because your body will burn additional calories, bringing it to core temperature. The second habit is rooted in one of the most misunderstood concepts in modern nutrition: meal timing and insulin management. For decades, the mainstream advice was to eat breakfast immediately after waking. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day became a cultural religion. But this phrase, traced back to early 20th century cereal marketing, was never grounded in metabolic science. What research now shows is that delaying your first meal by 60 to 90 minutes after waking allows your cortisol-driven fat mobilization window to operate without interruption. The moment you eat, especially carbohydrates or any significant caloric intake, you trigger an insulin response. Insulin immediately shuts down fat burning. The metabolic window closes. This doesn't mean starving yourself, it means being strategic. If you wake at 7 a.m., waiting until 8:30 or 9 a.m. to eat your first meal gives your body 90 uninterrupted minutes of hormonally favorable fat burning. Over days, weeks, and months, this compounds into a dramatically different body composition outcome, without changing what you eat or how much you exercise. Black coffee or plain green tea during this window is acceptable and can actually enhance the effect. Caffeine is a well-documented lipolytic agent. It stimulates the release of fatty acids from fat tissue. Without a caloric meal to trigger insulin, those released fatty acids are burned for fuel rather than restored. This is why millions of people who fast in the morning report feeling leaner and more energized without actually changing their diet. The third habit is one that nearly no one talks about: morning light exposure. Your body's fat-burning systems are directly regulated by your circadian rhythm, and your circadian rhythm is primarily set by light. Specifically, natural sunlight exposure in the first 30 minutes of waking triggers a cascade of hormonal events: serotonin production, cortisol regulation, and critically, the suppression of melatonin. When melatonin lingers in your system past waking, which happens when you stay in dark rooms or look at artificial screens first thing, your body remains in a physiological nighttime state. Metabolism stays suppressed, fat mobilization is blunted, energy remains low. Research out of Northwestern University found that people who received bright light exposure in the morning had lower body mass indexes than those who didn't, independent of their diet or sleep duration. The mechanism is circadian alignment. When your body clock is properly set, every metabolic process that follows, including fat oxidation, runs more efficiently for the entire day. This habit costs nothing. Step outside for 10 minutes. Stand by a bright window. Let natural light hit your eyes within 30 minutes of waking. That single behavioral shift can recalibrate your entire metabolic rhythm. The fourth habit involves movement, but not in the way most people think. Specifically, low-intensity fasted movement. A 15 to 20-minute walk, light stretching, or gentle bodyweight movement done before eating has been shown to dramatically increase fat oxidation compared to the same activity performed after a meal. A 15 to 20-minute walk, light stretching, or gentle bodyweight movement done before eating has been shown to dramatically increase fat oxidation compared to the same activity performed after a meal. A study published in the British Journal of Nutrition found that exercising in a fasted state burned up to 20% more fat than the same exercise performed after breakfast. The mechanism is straightforward. In a fasted state, your glycogen stores are lower from the overnight fast. Your body, needing fuel for movement, turns more readily to stored fat. The low intensity means you're working in the aerobic fat-burning zone without spiking cortisol to a level that becomes counterproductive. A 20-minute morning walk. That is the prescription, not a marathon, not a HIIT session, just movement while your insulin is low and your fat-burning hormones are elevated. The fifth habit is the one that silently undermines all the others for millions of people, and it happens before they even get out of bed. Checking your phone first thing in the morning. This is not just a productivity issue, it is a cortisol and stress axis issue. Research on digital stress response shows that consuming emails, news, social media, or notifications within the first minutes of waking triggers a psychological stress response that dysregulates your cortisol awakening response. Instead of the clean, productive cortisol spike that mobilizes fat and sharpens focus, you get a chaotic, anxiety-driven cortisol surge. One that promotes central fat storage, increases cravings for high-calorie foods, and sends your stress hormones into a pattern that takes hours to regulate. Protecting your morning from reactive digital consumption is not a luxury, it is a metabolic strategy. The first 30 to 60 minutes of your day should be a low-stress, intentional window. Water, light, movement, and silence, before the noise of the world rushes in. Here is why this matters more now than at any point in human history. The global obesity rate has tripled since 1975. Today, over 1 billion people worldwide are classified as obese. Metabolic disease, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, fatty liver disease is the defining health crisis of the 21st century. And despite unprecedented access to gyms, diets, and health information, the numbers keep rising. The missing piece is not more effort. It is not more willpower. It is circadian-aligned, hormonally intelligent behavior during the window that matters most. The morning. Every single morning, your body offers you a metabolic gift, a natural window of low insulin, elevated cortisol, suppressed melatonin, and ready-to-burn fat stores. The habits explored here, hydration, delayed eating, light exposure, fasted movement, and protected mental space, are not complicated. They are not expensive. They require no gym membership, no special food, and no extraordinary willpower. They require only one thing, the decision to stop working against your biology and start working with it. Fat loss doesn't have to be a battle. When your mornings are designed correctly, it becomes automatic.